Hello guys, hello. Welcome to another reading. So I've done a Patreon written update today, which is very detailed, very thorough, very informative on the astrological transits that are occurring this month. There's a lot. We have 3 planets retrograde. We have a full moon lunar eclipse happening. So there are a lot of changes and a lot of shifts, and this is affecting us in tremendous ways. So I was called to talk about that this morning. So that's posted over on Patreon for all levels on Patreon. Please do go and support the channel and check that out. And as well, I have a written reading that is just premiering now as I'm recording this voice reading. And so if you want to check out, it's a Q&A that I'm going to start doing. So it's question and answer, and it's all about why your divine counterpart seemingly rejects you or ghosts you or goes silent or just pushes you away. And I feel like it's really pertinent information on this journey, especially right now as we go through this collective dark night of the soul and this sort of blanket of darkness that's covering us at this time. I just want to be really vulnerable and honest about what's going on with me, why I've been quiet lately. And so these are offerings from my heart and my soul to help you on this journey. So if you would please take a moment to like this video, watch some other videos, like, share, subscribe, come over to Patreon if you so feel called to do so. And I've had a few emails recently asking me how can I donate to the channel. I have a wish list over on Amazon, and that's below every video. There's a description box and you'll see that below. There's a link. And so I have some card decks and candles and things like that on my wish list if you ever feel called to do that as well. Thank you in advance for all of your support. And we're going to get started on the card portion of this reading. So I've got the Magic of You Oracle, the Moonology deck, and the Wisdom of the Oracle. And I may tap into this Angel and Ancestors deck if I'm guided to. I'm going to start with the Magic of You Oracle because it just feels like there's a lot of energy right now that is very heavy. It's sort of this blanket of heaviness, this blanket of darkness that I feel like is really attached to the collective. And it's a dismal energy. And I feel as though some of us feel like we can't find our stride. We can't seem to get back into a routine. So routines are challenging right now. It may be challenging to keep up with good habits, good eating habits, good diet. You may have fallen into some sort of a depression or a funk. I know I have. And you may have just sort of been called to hibernate in a sense. And so a lot of this is not your energy. May not even be your counterpart's energy. A lot of this is actually the collective's energy. So I just, wanted to talk about that today because when I'm in these energies, it actually helps me tremendously to share, even if I'm not feeling like I have the energy to do so. It's always better to share and to let other people know that they're not alone. It heals me and it heals you as well. So the first card that is coming out as an overarching energy is Euphoria. Honor thyself. So this is definitely pertinent for the Divine Feminine Collective. And what I'm feeling with this, guys, is this energy where you may have denied yourself, this energy where you may have deceived yourself and told yourself that love or happily ever after or abundance wasn't for you, it's for other people, but it's not for you in this lifetime. Or you're just putting other people's needs, sorry, got a fan on me because I'm outside, or you've got other people's needs that you're trying to take care of ahead of or above yours, and it's causing you to really feel depleted. So there is this mask that I feel like the Divine Feminine is wearing right now that is where she's realizing or being shown all the places that she hasn't loved herself, all the places where she hasn't been honest about what she needed or what she wanted. Is to me speaks of the sacrifices that the Divine Feminine has made for her counterpart or for her journey. And as you'll read in the written reading that I did today for the channel here, the divine masculine, when he pushes you away, feminine, he's doing so to get you to wake up to your own self-love. He's doing it out of love, no matter how it seems in the 3D and on the surface. So it's really your job, feminine, to take care of yourself. I recall a conversation I had with my counterpart when I was on vacation. I was out in California, and he kind of went distant on me, and it was interesting because I wasn't asking for it, but he was trying to give me something that I probably needed, but I wasn't aware of on the surface, right? So I was giving you space to be with my mom was out there with me for a few days, and then to be with your friend, and I'm like, but I didn't ask for that. I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to like catch up with you, and it just felt like I felt like we were so distant. But he wasn't seeing anything wrong with it. He was trying to do right by me. So it was like this conversation that we never actually had that was playing out within our connection, like his higher self and my higher self, I feel. But at the time, I felt hurt and rejected and even abandoned in a sense. And I felt like I wasn't a priority, but none of those things were actually true. So what's happening right now for the DF is she's realizing that she's having these epiphanies that'll go, like going back to old conversations or times that you shared with your counterpart where you may have been deceived into thinking they were rejecting you or abandoning you or didn't want you or that you weren't a priority. But if you can look back on it through another lens and a different perspective, you're going to be able to see clearly that your counterpart was actually acting from this higher perspective and pushing you into a deeper place of self-acceptance and self-love. And also helping the feminine to heal codependency. Okay, so, I forgot to share what he said. He actually said, I said, what can I do for you? Because he was going through something challenging in his personal life. And he said, you can take care of yourself. And I felt like a punch in the gut when he said that, because it felt like, well, I want you to take care of me. And looking back on that, I realized how silly that is to expect or need or want someone else to take care of your needs that you should be doing and taking care of and filling your own cup by yourself. And so I was upset by this. But he was urging me, take care of yourself, worry about yourself, Because when we take care of ourselves, we're taking care of our counterpart at the same time. So when it feels like the masculine has pushed the feminine away, what's actually transpiring is this beautiful unconditional love, because the masculine's risking hurting you. The masculine's risking potentially, in his eyes, even the connection, the fate of the connection, in order to get you to really wake up to your full godliness, the godliness that exists within you. You're also being called to honor your physical self. There's definitely like a sensual nature to this card. So there is this need, feminine, right now, and a lot of this surrounds eating right now for the feminine, because a lot of feminines, I have a DF friend who watches this channel, so shout out to her. I'm not going to say her name. I'm not going to give up her identity, but she said, I've been eating candy and broccoli. And I was like, did you just say candy and broccoli? And she's like, yeah, I just realized how crazy that sounds, or how strange that sounds. I was like, well, at least you're getting your broccoli, and broccoli's really good for women. So it's a hormone balancer. And so it's like the feminine is ravenous at times, and then she's denying herself food or nutrition at other times. You may not be drinking enough water. You may just not be sleeping enough. So this card asks you, feminine, to honor your physical self and to really take notice of poor eating habits, or maybe it's even excess, drinking or substance abuse or whatever it is, or just working out when you don't really want to work out, or you feel like shit, or you don't have the energy. And you should be celebrating yourself. You should be celebrating even your perceived flaws. And that's what we're learning to do. That's the goddess status, when you can appreciate and accept you just as you are, not needing to be on a diet, not needing to do this workout, not needing to look a certain way or have your hair done or whatever the case is, however you've punished yourself in the past. So it's really about awakening to your sacred self and who she or he is. You're also being called to be protective of your sexual energy right now. So that sacral chakra healing we've been working on, the womb healing, any womb wounds. And so I want you to be really mindful of who you're giving your body to at this time. And I do want to call on the divine masculine energy within. So you guys, if you're new to my channel, I'm not currently focusing on the divine masculine in the external as much, if at all, right now, because it's been a strict guidance by my team, my light team, to really focus on the divine feminine. But I am answering questions about the journey, and that will entail questions about the counterpart, your masculine. But I'm focusing on the feminine because that's where we need to be right now. So we have this card, tangibility, make your dreams real. Okay, so I think this is the first time I've actually pulled the tangibility card. So feminine, here you're being called out on all the ways where you may have told yourself that you're unworthy or that you don't deserve happiness or success. This could also be for some of you the need to be grounded, because there's a very ethereal nature to this card, kind of like a head in the clouds energy. So where can you make your dreams a reality, and how can you bring that and ground it down into the physical? You know, the bird represents a message of some sort. So perhaps you'll be receiving a message in written form. Written form is coming through rather strongly. So email or text message, or even a long form letter of some sort, something that you're waiting on, divine feminine. So that's going to help anchor you into this project or into this next chapter of your career, next chapter of your personal life. But this is tied into your career, I feel, for many feminines. And this connection to this bird, this winged messenger who brings very specific messages, right? He carries messages, and those messages are unique to each of us, depending on what we need to hear at that time. And so this is about authenticity as well, because if you think about it, animals don't try to be anything. It's like that Gavin DeGraw song, I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be, baby. You know, he's like, the animal doesn't try to be anything other than what it is. He's not trying, he just is. So there's this quality, and children have that as well. It's this very present nature quality, this present moment quality of, I'm just here for it, whatever it is in this moment. So stop looking over your shoulder, feminine. Stop looking ahead. Stop looking behind you. Stop looking sideways. Just be. Just ground yourself. Be in your body. Be in that present moment, as uncomfortable as that might be for you. And it oftentimes is, especially with the energies that are circulating around right now. It's so desirable to want to just hop off the journey, say forget about it, and just go and do something else. And that may be what you need to do to ground yourself, is go have a 3D dinner with friends, or go outside and take a walk. But whatever you do, don't punish your body. Remember, going back to this, honor thyself and honor the lesson that you need to learn in this very moment. Don't try to dig yourself out of it. These are very pertinent lessons coming up. Our levels of perception are very keen right now. So feminines, you're being shown a doorway or a portal, a path into your next version of self. But it does feel like in many ways we are dying. Parts of us are dying, falling away, so that we can rise up to the next level. So this card comes to show you that your dreams are possible, that they're relevant, that they're possible. And I just noticed the butterfly. She's got the bird, so all winged messengers, the butterflies, signs of transformation, reinvention of the self. Make your dreams a reality, feminine. I just realized, oh, that's so funny. I said I was going to do a card for the masculine. I ended up reading for the feminine again. So, see, I just don't think I'm meant to tap into the masculine's energies. Even though I was going to read for the inner masculine. I just need to focus on the feminine today. Okay. Okay, let's go over to the Wisdom of the Oracle card now. And we're going to look into the energies here. If you guys can hear that, but we have a mockingbird here that's been at my house for like a few weeks now, and he comes over every day between my house and the neighbor's house and just tweet, 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 tweet. Pretty bird, pretty bird. He's so beautiful. Okay, well, we have some cards wanting to fall on the ground, which tells me we may have some urgent energy here. Wow. Look, tangibility, flexible, be flexible, feminine. That's what I'm saying. You're being asked to honor that all the different possible avenues right now that your path can take. We are really asked to step away from expectation. And I talked about that in the written reading in detail. Because it's clouding your connection, it's clouding your perception, it's clouding your ability to really feel the love that innately exists between you and your counterpart. And many feminines feel very far away from their connection or their counterpart right now. And part of the reason is we've been a little rigid. We've, in our expectations of how the masculine's going to show up, when they're going to show up, where they're going to show up. And we've been talking about them. And the masculines came to me. And if there's any masculines watching, feel free to reach out to me privately. You came to me as a group and said, we need a break. We feel like our privacy is being invaded. And they're growing, they're learning, and they need to do this, in peace, just as the feminine has been able to do in the past. Would you have wanted somebody all up in your business, while you were going through these monumental, massive internal changes? Changes to the structure of yourself, changes to your personality, changes to your everyday life, changes, everything. When your world was turned upside down, would you have really wanted readers tapping into your energy? Probably not. So the masculines demanded some privacy, and I said, absolutely, I will honor that. I'll know when it's time. So I'm not saying that I won't ever tap into their energy, but for right now, they're really asking for just, can you please close the door and give us some space? So feminine, be flexible with the way in which you think that this manifestation of your desires is going to show up, including your union. Union has become really flexible right now. And you guys notice that I'm not using the term twin flames as much. I've really been called to step away from that label, because it does and it can bring us into this place of expectation. Expecting your counterpart to say a certain thing, do a certain thing, show up a certain way. We're in stage 5 of, journey to union, but everyone's journey is actually different and unique. And look at what we have here, guys. Mending an unfinished symphony. So inner child healing, but also mending happening within the connection. If the feminine can really honor herself, really connect and ground to her life and her dreams right now. This is what your masculine wants and needs you to do. And then, step away from the connection to step back into yourself. And you're going to feel much better when you do so. You're going to feel a lot better when you're able to just focus on you and what you need to do. Your next best steps. So mending going on. A lot of the masculines have closed their hearts recently as they've become the chaser. They operate differently than the feminine does. The feminine's over here eating broccoli and candy and crying. There's been a lot of crying for the feminine, a lot of shedding and a lot of releasing. It's that scorpionic death energy that's been coming up for weeks now, okay, leading up to the eclipse season. And Scorpio energy is heavy, it's strong, it's potent, it's palatable, it stays for a while. Now, because it's all about transformation. And then we have Pluto retrograde, Saturn retrograde, Mercury retrograde this month. And I talk all about that over on Patreon. So I want you guys to understand that this is not over. And so many feminines have been devastated, myself included. I've gone through moments, several of them recently, especially since February, of it's over, this is it. And what's fascinating is if you can read between the lines of the interactions you've had, if any, with your counterparts, especially this year, you'll notice that your counterparts may or may not have said it's over, but they may have hinted at that or told you to move on in some way or just pushed you away. You're being asked to come back to the truth. You're being asked to come back to your truth about this love, about this connection, about how this is making you a better person. Think about all the ego deaths that you've gone through since the start of this connection in the physical. Think about the dark nights of the soul that you endured before you even met this person in the physical world. Think about how different of a person you are from even 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 6 months ago, 3 months ago, 5 days ago, 10 years ago. You may say, I do not recognize that person. I'm unrecognizable from the self that I was 10 years ago. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. There is a lot of healing going on within the connection. And feminine, you're really being asked to go into your deepest, deepest truth, to know that it's never over. You are soul to soul connected. So knowing that you can never lose your counterpart, how might you act or react differently? How might you be able to let go and disconnect from the connection even deeper? Seems counterintuitive, right? Like, why would I let go? I want this person. This is all I want, is this union. But why would I let go? Because this isn't a 3D relationship. It's the complete opposite. It's like if what you would do in a normal 3D relationship, do the opposite, and that's probably your answer. It's a totally different dynamic. This person is your mirror of the highest divine order, and they're reflecting back to you everything you need to do to heal yourself. I am not by any means saying you have to be fully healed to come into union. What I am saying is I do think there's a certain level of healing which some of us have decided to do separately physically. We're always connected separately physically, and some have decided to do together physically. One choice isn't easier than the other. They're both challenging. So it's really up to you to decide. It's really up to you. It's your combined soul, your joint soul. What do we want to do? What is our mission? I do not think that separation has to go on for years or decades. We align to union. We align to this desire that we have in a way that's also detached, in a way that's also not clinging, not codependent, and that's the golden ticket. So feminine, you're also being asked to come to the edge of your desire, come to the edge of your dreams, come to the edge of your ideas, your inspiration, come to the edge of anything that you thought was possible. Basically, come to the edge of possibility. And trust that where you're being led and where you're headed next is exactly where you need to be in this moment. There's just so much innate trust that's needing to happen right now for the feminine. It's like you're falling and you just have to trust that there's a net to catch you, and you're like, well, I mean, I hope it's there, right? I can't see it, I can't feel it, but kind of like union, you can't see it, maybe you can't even feel it right now. Some masculines have gone quiet in the 5D. They come to me. If your masculine's quiet, he's probably come to me or another reader and told us all about his woes, you know? But I don't pick up on the masculines as much as I used to. I'm not in this stage of my journey. Will that happen again? Possibly, likely. But right now, I'm tuning into the feminine's pain and the feminine's wanting and needing and longing. These are deeper wounds and fears that are resurfacing. Okay, these are not superficial. This is deeper. These are wounds that you thought you healed. I thought I healed codependency. I thought I healed rejection wounds. I thought I healed abandonment wounds, but they're coming back up for a reason. Nothing will come of this situation. Exactly. Perfect. This is that void energy that we are in leading up to the eclipse, which I think is on May 29th in Sagittarius. Happens to also be the sign that our South Node collectively is in. The South Node is about karma. It's about past lives. It's about healing that karma. So very interesting placement for this full moon eclipse. I suspect it's going to wrap up a lot of karma in the collective. Okay, this density we're feeling, this pain, this heaviness, this blanket of just darkness, I expect that to be lifted soon after this eclipse sort of rolls through the solar system. And yeah, I mean, many feminines, this is that feeling of, okay, it's over, you know, like some of you even think that your counterpart is a karmic. Some of you are just feeling like it's never going to happen, union's never going to happen, and you're trying to accept that. Some of you have gone a completely different direction. Some of you are completely focused on a move or a new career, moving away from your counterpart in the physical. Some of you have just sort of accepted the fate. Some of you are bereaved. Some of you are... It's like... There's so many different scenarios and possibilities and timelines that are occurring right now. We're wrapping, I just like see karma flying around. There's so much karma flying around. Those of you who are grieving the loss of this connection are going to be feeling this the most. You're going to be feeling this void energy the most. But some of you who aren't grieving it, who have just totally detached, but still know that union is possible, you could also definitely be feeling this void energy. Absolutely. This void energy can be scary simply because you don't know what's next. And so it's like we're in this place where all of a sudden we don't know if union is guaranteed anymore. That's what it feels like. I'm talking about the emotions, the feelings. And also, feminines are at this place where they're being guided to trust their inner instinct and intuition above anything else. And so it doesn't matter what anyone else says, you're being guided to go to your own intuition. And you might be healing some distortion. You're healing, the feminines in general are healing a lot of relationship trauma, past relationship trauma. Mostly from this life right now. And so we don't know what's next. Will union actually happen in this lifetime? And you feel like you can't rely on anything or anyone outside of yourself to give you these answers anymore. And this is happening for a reason. This is happening so that the feminine goes deeper. Just like the masculine, you're perceiving he's rejecting you. You're perceiving you can't trust anyone outside of yourself. These are all happening so that the feminine can go deeper and deeper and deeper into her own inner knowing and find your own truth. What is your truth? There is no right or wrong. There is no this way or that way. There is just your way. Spirit, can you tell me what is coming up next for the feminines? Like, what is coming up next for the feminine in this place? The end of a tough cycle approaches. Full moon in Capricorn. The end of a tough cycle. Capricorn is the workhorse of the zodiac. He can be the workaholic energy. And so for a lot of feminines, you felt this has been this year in particular has been such hard work in this connection. This has just been so hard. And the divine wants you to know that this is coming to an end. In fact, a lot of you are having just issues or perceived setbacks in your physical world right now, like hiccups, if you will. I'll share something that's going on. You guys know that I'm a cat person, and I've helped to rescue and save many cats, as has my mom over the years. So we jointly work together, and that's where I get my love of cats, is from my mom. So one of the kitties that lives at my parents' house, he started losing weight. And so I said, I'm going to take him to the vet. We kind of switch off. You know, if a cat needs to go to the vet, she'll take one, I'll take the next one, so that the expenses are offset that way. So we took him in, and it turns out that he tested positive for FIV, which is a virus that attacks the cat's immune system. I went into guilt mode immediately because I thought because he showed up at my parents' house years ago, and we never took him in. You know, we just said, he looks healthy, he's fine, everything's fine. Come to find out, he, at some point, probably before he even came to my mom's house, contracted FIV. Now, luckily, it's only contagious. They know this now. It's only contagious through a deep bite wound, really. So he doesn't bite. You know, he'll scruffle with the others, if that's what cats do, but he doesn't bite. And so luckily, most of the other cats that have, all of the other cats that have been tested have been negative. So that being said, that was like a complete relief. But it brought up a lot of guilt, okay? It brought up guilt, and it brought up, I should have taken him sooner, I should have seen the signs, I should have just taken him, or we should have taken him to get his blood work at some point. And so the feminine energy, we're having to let things go and realize we're doing our best. So I also found out that he had slightly elevated kidney levels and elevated thyroid, so that's why he was losing weight. And so now, this is like, you know, a conundrum. What do we do? Do we put on the conventional medication? So I'm trying herbals, because that's what I would do for myself. And I'm doing everything I can, you know, to help. We're doing everything we can. But it just felt like, it was like one blow after another has been happening in my 3D world for a few weeks now. And this just sort of sent me over the edge. And so this was just yesterday. And I just had to really, this was actually, I'm sorry, Wednesday. I had to just sit with it, and I finally came to a place of acceptance. And I feel many of you are experiencing things like that as well. You know, it's like, I never expected her to say that. I went into complete shock, and I was by myself, and I had this twinge of wishing in that moment I had a partner to share this with. And I even thought about reaching out to my counterpart, but it's just not the time. I likely wouldn't get the response that I needed or wanted, and I was meant to give that to myself and to reach out to people that I knew would be able to really lift me up and support me. And it doesn't mean that your counterpart doesn't love you, it just means that they're teaching you and showing you how best to love yourself and how to really, really just rely on you. It's a tough love kind of a situation, but it's really necessary for the divine feminine. So I wanted to share that story because it really drained me. It was really depressing. It was very sad. I cried. And then I realized, A, it's not a death sentence at all. FIV cats can live long, normal lives. And B, I'm going to do the best I can for him. I'm going to do the best I can within my power. And we're going to work jointly to make sure he has the best life possible from here on out. I mean, we already did, but knowing this, and at least now we have some answers, and now we're equipped. And self-forgiveness, forgiving myself for not acting or not taking him sooner. But the weight loss was so sudden. I took him as soon as I could, as soon as I realized something was off. So forgive yourself, feminine, comfort yourself, be good to yourself, treat yourself, and know that this too shall pass. Okay, and that it's not happening to you. Everything is happening to teach you. And this teaches me about unconditional love that I have for this kitty and for all of the kitties and all of the animals. Okay. His name is number 7, by the way. It's the cutest name. He's so cute. I might share a photo of him on my community tab so you guys can meet number 7. Okay, so we have Yang. Okay, masculine energy wanting to show up here. We do have the Yang energy. So the masculine energy is currently doing things by the book. And so I'm going to talk briefly about the masculine, briefly, just because that came up. It's masculine energy. Now this could, of course, pertain to your inner masculine energy as well. What this tells us is that the masculine energy Okay, however you identify with that within yourself and externally, is doing things by the book, and it may be perceived by the feminine that they're going backwards. This is an important distinction to make. They're not actually going backwards, but it may be perceived like they're going back into old habits, old relationships, or old relationship patterns in your connection, or whatever it might be, with work, and the way they're communicating with you. And many of you that are in union have even expressed this to me. I've noticed it in with other readers that I watch, you know, the comments on Instagram that, you know, my divine counterparts, like, we've gone backwards. Okay, so they're doing things by the book right now, so it looks very, very different in the 3D than what's actually going on underneath the surface. It looks like you're just repeating cycles and you're going round and round, and it feels maybe like you're not getting anywhere with your counterpart, with your connection. So a lot of you, this may come up as frustration, like, why aren't we getting anywhere? What the hell is going on? The divine wants you to trust in the serendipity. So I feel like this is, serendipity to me is magic. It's sort of, it's how you felt when you met your counterparts, how you feel when you get that job, or, you know, you find money you didn't know you had, or things just go your way. It's this energy of everything's going to be okay, and everything is actually turning out beautifully, more beautiful than I could have imagined. So the universe is saying, trust that there will be a serendipitous moment that is going to change everything, okay? Trust that there will be this moment for the masculine energy where they have this sudden epiphany, and it's gonna seem like it happens by chance. So you can't force this, you can't control this. So that's what I'm being told to tell the feminine right now. It's like this accidental happiness, this accidental infusion or dose of happiness that's just going to step into your connection, and all of a sudden things are going to change. So be on the lookout for that, feminine, because I do feel like this is coming. And the masculine energy is a little rigid right now. It is. It feels definitely rigid, and like they're not willing to flex. They're not willing to change. They're not willing to see things from your perspective. Like, nope, this is where I stand, and that's that. So that's why the finality feels, some of the closures in these connections, the closures of these cycles, feels very final to the feminine. That's why you have to listen to what they're really saying or what they're not saying versus what they're saying. Confusing, right? Welcome to the divine. Welcome to the twin flame journey. Okay, sorry about that. My battery is dying, so I will wrap this up. But I did want to share these last two cards with you. We have fork in the road and exchanging gifts. So I feel like there's going to be a serendipitous moment. It's going to be this fork in the road, and it's going to be up to both of you. But since we're talking about the divine feminine here, it's up to you. Which direction are you going to take? What thought are you going to allow? What belief system are you going to flex in order to bring about this change, this, to sort of heal this rigidness that feels like it's coming up for the masculine energy, right? Your connection. This serendipitous moment where it seems like it happens by chance, but it's like this perfect meeting, I'm telling you guys, I still see the masculine. I see the masculine, you running into each other in a bookstore, or a coffee shop, or in your neighborhood, or at an airport or something. I see it happening. You're like, how in the hell? And you just go, it's gonna feel like in the beginning when you met, and it was so serendipitous, like, how did this happen where everything lined up, that we're at the same place at the same time like this, when I was supposed to go this way and I was gonna go this way, and I just happened to come out and I just happened to do this. It's gonna feel like that when you see each other again. Or it's gonna look like this. You get a phone call or text message, but I'm seeing a phone call, concerted effort from the masculine that says, I'm coming over, I'm driving to you, because a lot of you live at a distance. I'm coming to you, I'm flying to you, my flight gets in at this time, I wanna see you, and they're gonna have a gift of some sort. They're gonna have a gift for you. They're gonna have flowers for you. It's gonna be something totally unexpected, or jewelry. Some of you may actually get that proposal. Guys, you know I'm not the reader to say that, but that is what's coming up, okay? For those of you in a more advanced stage of the union process, there may be a ring. Maybe. Some of you, it's going to be something more simple. It might be a card. It might be a phone call. That's the gift. It might be a text message. That's the gift. It might be them coming to you or flying to you, that's the gift. But in some way, there's going to be some exchange of energy that's going to show that they're in this, and that it's going to be because you've chosen to step back into that place of self-love, and you've taken your eyes off the connection and put yourself back into your own power. So allow this to happen, feminine. Look, there is nothing forced or controlled about this energy. Look at it's like free. There's a freedom, an innate freedom. This is that 4-leaf. This is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like a 6-leaf clover or 8-leaf clover. Anyway, that's supposed to be a 4-leaf clover. Don't mind me. The luck of the Irish. So there's luck. It's going to feel luck. You're going to feel like you got lucky again, and things are going to start to shift and turn in your favor instead of repeating that same cycle. Don't worry about what's happening, this by the book energy. It's coming up for the masculines in my past few readings. Just focus on you, feminine. That's the underlying and overarching message. I send you guys so much love. I'm going to go rest my voice now. I will be back soon, coming out of this hopefully blanket of darkness, doing my best to be here for you guys and to assist you on your journeys. Healing, reading for you heals me, and I hope it heals you too. Please do like, share, subscribe, come on over to Patreon, and thank you so much for being here and supporting the channel in any way that you can. Much love, guys. I'll talk to you soon.